Nemesis does 20 million headshots, right? When it's charged.
Do what?
The Nemesis.
2 million.
Something like that.
Just hitting 15 million with no charge.
Nice.
Got a vision?
I'm at a loss for words right now with how good this sniper build is.
Rogue agent detected.
Rogue agent, really? Okay, let's see how this fares against you, my friend.
Rogue restore hive detected. Immediate medical assistance needed. Serious trauma detected. Turret detected.
Alright, buddy. Do the rogue incinerated turret in the wrong place. About to allow you to flank me? Got you. Whew.
Rogue agent eliminated.
Welcome to my channel, everyone. Be righteous from identity, here with my second sniper and battle rifle build. I hope you're ready for this one because the change that was made to the Sawyer's exotic knee pads are legendary. If you're enjoying my content and like to see more of it, please drop a like and don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. Trust me, you will not regret it, and I think you'll love it here. Guillotine takes no prisoners. The headshot damage accumulated on this build alongside with the damage stacks from gear makes this a must-have. The sniper that I use gives the ability to embody the role of an elite assassin that strikes with the precision and speed of a mantis, no pun intended. I thought that my first sniper build was a problem, but this is on a whole different level. So without further ado, let me show you what I got here. What's up, y'all? This build, I literally felt like I was a loss for words because of how good everything works together. This Mantis sniper rifle is amazing. I made a build called Decapitate and I was knocking people's heads off like crazy. And that was with a regular sniper that was like an SRS A1 version or something like that. Now there were two weapons that I said from the Division 1 that I was really in love with, but because of the meta and everybody using M700 or the M44, it wasn't really viable. But they actually made a sniper, an exotic sniper rifle that is an SRS variant. What can be better than that when it comes to this? And when you see the talent that I'm using with this sniper, it makes this build just perfect. And also the way that they buffed the Sawyer's knee pads. Oh my goodness, let's get right into this right now, okay? Of course, I'm using a sniper build, so with that, we're gonna be running a Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter gives you a lot of perks that help you out with sniping. And because of weapon handling being buffed, it makes everything else better when it comes to reload speed, swap speed, and stability. As you all know, Sharpshooter gives you extra headshot damage and stability, so you should go with the specialization above all. The primary weapon I'm using is the Urban MDR. You can use whatever rifle you want, but this is just my preference. Last time I used breadbasket. Well, this time I'm going to go with Rifleman, which is also another great talent for increasing your DPS, because when you land headshots, it gives you a stack of bonus 10% weapon damage for 5 stacks. So you could end up getting 50% more weapon damage just for landing headshots. There's another named rifle, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a SIG variant and it has perfect rifleman. I don't want to use that just because it doesn't handle the way that I like. By all means, go ahead and use that rifle if you feel like you want to use the perfect talent. But usually perfect talents don't really increase the damage or anything. They just increase like the stacks or the duration of that talent. So it's up to you depending on what you want to use. And because of the weapon handling, this Urban MDR does not move. I was actually missing shots because I was expecting it to recoil and it wasn't. Nuts. Secondary, the brand new Mantis exotic sniper rifle. If you thought the Nemesis was good, it still is, but the Nemesis is kind of hard to get that clutch shot at certain moments. Don't get me wrong, you can sit there and hold the charge and wait for that opportune time to get that headshot, but with this you could just snapshot, boom. I mean, I was getting headshots and doing 15 million damage at the gun range, and with a full charge Nemesis I was getting 20 million headshots. Now I haven't used a Nemesis with the chest piece talent that I have, which drastically increases your weapon damage, but still the ability to just get headshots on a fly and the weapon handling increasing your reload speed to a 50%. The sniper is amazing. I'm going to show you the stat sheet and you'll be able to see the weapon handling and all the stats. Now, if you didn't know, I keep talking about weapon handling, and that's because they buffed it. For every 1% of weapon handling you have, it gives you 1% reload speed, 1% swap speed, 1% stability. So weapon handling is now viable. The sniper's called the Mantis, and his talent is called In Plain Sight. Your scoped view displays additional information about enemies not targeting you. Now, the only thing I noticed about this is that when you aim down sights, it displays a reticle around any enemy that's in that sight's head. And so when an enemy is not looking at you, headshots and weak points damage against those enemies are amplified by 50%. And the headshot kills reset the cooldown of the decoy skill. This bonus will wait until the decoy goes on cooldown if currently active. I said before the decoy should do more. In one of my other videos I said that at tier 6 it should ghost you like on the other side of the map. But nonetheless, the decoy is still a good skill. You just have to know how to use it. I guess that's how the devs want it to be, and so we got to work with what we have. I know that in PvE this decoy works exceptionally well because the NPCs always target it no matter what. And just for the extra headshot damage, I'm running the Mozambique special with perfect breadbasket. With this weapon, you can get to 100% headshot damage with just 2 shots to the body. It's really nice because the normal one, you have to hit him 3 times. For the mask, I'm running an Hraldi. First piece gives you 10% marksman rifle damage. Second piece gives you 15% headshot damage. I have a lot of headshot damage on this build, and you're going to see. Side note, I don't know why this looks like the Hollow Man or y'all mask, but whatever. Anyway, the stats you want on this build is headshot damage and weapon handling, because with a sniper build you don't really need crit. You can to increase your crit damage when you're doing headshots, but you want that weapon handling so you can have that reload speed, the swap speed, because when you're a sniper people like to rush you a lot. Okay, so you want to keep the distance, and once you get that headshot, it's going to be all worth it. The chest piece is Walker Harrison Company, and this is the new brand set that they came out with. 5% weapon damage, 5% damage to armor, and 5% damage to health. Damage to armor and damage to health are multiplicative. I can't say this enough. And of course I wrote 10% weapon handling. The talent is called Perfect Headhunter. These new talents that they came out with are really good, I have to say. I mean, they might get nerfed, we'll see. But with the TTK changing, I don't know if they'll do that because it feels really good in PvP. So Perfect Headhunter is after killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit, just the hit, within 30 seconds deals an additional 150% of that killing blow's damage. Damage is capped at 800% of your weapon damage, and this is raised to 1250% if your headshot damage is greater than 150%. Now that's a lot to take in. So the best way to understand this is looking at the name of the talent, which is called Chain Killer, and this means that this is meant to get kills back to back because of the damage amplified after you get your first headshot kill. Once you get that first headshot kill, it all starts. This also applies to the Urban MDR. It's not just a sniper, you know, this is not only for marksman rifles. This is for any weapon type, but it works best with a sniper, I believe. As always, the holsters are simple. You just need 2 attributes based on what your build is. So this is the 2-piece Walker Harrison Company that gives me the damage to armor. That's another attribute you want to have on a sniper build, because snipers hit so hard, the damage to armor is just going to help you out. This came with 2 stats that, you know, weren't in my favor, so I just rolled headshot damage on. Headshot damage is the first priority, then weapon handling. I don't know about you guys, but every time I get the gift in the DZ, which this is, okay, this is a Providence 1-piece. You only need the 1 piece for the 15% headshot damage. This is a named backpack with perfect vigilance, and every time I get one of these in a DZ, it comes with weapon handling without fail. And I was always like, man, why can't this come with crit? Why can't this come with crit chance, crit damage? Well, this time I actually wanted it with weapon handling, and so I just rolled headshot damage on here. Wow, I didn't even put a mod in here yet. That's crazy. So let's put another headshot damage mod, which gives me more. So what the gift does, perfect vigilance, this increases your total weapon damage by 25%, and taking damage disables this buff for 3 seconds. Now the normal version of vigilance is 4 seconds instead of 3. I think that's a big change, because 3 seconds when you're not getting hit is a pretty short amount of time. I mean, any amount of time that's shaved off of vigilance is good for me. So I'm going to use this over the regular version any day. And remember, you don't need crit chance or crit damage on this. If you want to, you can, but you're doing so much headshot damage, it's all going to be worth it. Gloves are my second piece of Heraldry for the 15% headshot damage. Oh my goodness, I love this build, man. This is crazy. Now these gloves came with 9% weapon handling, and I just rolled the 10% headshot damage on it. Alright folks, the Sawyer's exotic knee pads. I had these in my decapitate build, and I had to be like a statue because you can't move. You cannot move once you get that buff, or it will go away. This small change that they made to the Sawyer's knee pads makes these knee pads goated, period. I mean, why wouldn't you use these knee pads in almost any build? The talent is called Stand Your Ground. You cannot be staggered by explosions, first of all, and these knee pads increase your total weapon damage by 3% each second you're not moving. Before, if you moved after that, then you lose the buff. But now, this stacks up to 10, which means it's 30% once you get to 10 seconds. And all stacks are lost 10 seconds after moving. So after you get this buff, then you have it for 10 seconds. So you can sit in one area, get the buff, move positions, get back into position, and still maintain the buff. Because if you're moving positions and you're within that 10 seconds, the buff is always going to be there. Once you get out of that 10 seconds, it's going to be gone. These knee pads are great for any build. I'm not even going to say just for snipers. They're great for any build. So I hope they don't nerf these. These are in a great place. I mean, we need stuff like this. We need stuff like this, especially since this is an armor core. It's a great fusion between survivability and damage. So the skills that I'm using are the drone. This drone, the tactician drone, it's a scout, and it lasts for a really long time, and I have no skill tier on this build. Absolutely none. The health is really high, so it's hard to take this down, and the cooldown is only 18 seconds. The good thing about this is that because your sharpshooter gives you a graphene battery, which increases your duration by 15%, which is probably why the duration is 6 minutes. It also gives you a 20% scan range with the carbon fiber frame mod. These mods were buffed. They were nowhere near this high before. It was like 5% here and then 3% here. It was crazy. The mods were ridiculous. And I didn't have anything for this, so I just added the hollow point bullets, which you're not going to be using. With this, it's like you always have a pulse up. You could take this with you when you deploy it and just set it somewhere, and it's going to pulse anybody within its range. And it has a 60-meter scan range. I think this is pretty good, you know. And also, when I see this thing in the air, I like to shoot it. So sometimes you could put it in the air, bait somebody out to shoot it, and snipe them in the head. There's a lot of strategies based around this. Plus, it's a good team skill to help everybody out have vision. And of course, for the second skill, I'm going with the decoy. I mean, when you get a headshot kill, this resets the decoy, right? The Mantis resets the decoy. So you're always going to be playing mind games on the enemy. I've always liked the decoy. I want it to be a little better, but I think it's a good skill overall. And because Negotiator's Dilemma has been nerfed, you only receive that damage from the person with Negotiators if you're within 15 meters of your teammate or your decoy, because you know they could tag the decoy or tag whatever skill. Then when they shoot you, you take that damage. I mean, I talked about this on my 5 advanced combat tips video. Go check that out if you haven't. But now that you have to be 15 meters or within 15 meters to take that damage, then all you gotta do is spread out a little bit, and that makes negotiators not as strong as it was, which is great. So the decoy is amazing in PvE and it's really good in PvP. You might as well run the skill, especially since the Mantis automatically resets it, so you'll have this all the time. I mean, that's it for the build, y'all, and I think this might be the best sniper build for me at the moment. I mean, just look at it. This build is crazy, man. And don't sleep on weapon handling. It's actually viable. It increases your reload speed, which in turn increases your DPS, increases your stability, everything. So don't go overkill with it, but definitely have it in there as a viable stat when you're doing builds that aren't really like crit builds. So if this build helped you out in any way, then I'd appreciate if you drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Until I see you in my next video, be right out.